I am Ifai Atama. And it is time for Business Half Hour brought to you in collaboration with Naira Metrics. I've got Ugo Dre on the line with us this morning. Good morning, Ugo Dre.
Hey, fine. How you doing? Morning.
Yeah, great. Great.
Morning.
You had a great weekend?
Another week. Yes, I did. I did. Despite all the protests, I did have a good weekend. Sometimes you got to make some sacrifices to make things better
Absolutely.
for everyone.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was a good weekend. It
All right.
was.
Well, once
How
again,
about you?
yeah, it's a fantastic weekend. Fantastic. Fantastic. We thank God for everything. Before we introduce our guest, I would like to say a quick apologies for last week. Couldn't bring you business half hour last week. Had some technical difficulties, but hey, let's do it again. We're here today. We've got Akan Nelson with
Yep.
us this morning. Good morning, Akan.
Hi there. Good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's nice to have you. We're great. We're great.
Great to be
Akan
on.
is the founder and CEO of Evolve Credit. Once again,
Yes.
good morning and welcome, Akan.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show.
All right, we're great.
Yeah,
Let's
good
start.
to see you. Always great. Always great to have a young person on, right? Fine. Always great
Yeah,
to have a
so
young person on.
yeah, so yeah, Akan looks really excited to be here this morning. It's our pleasure to have you. Let's start from the very top, Akan. But what exactly is Evolve Credit?
All right. So, in the simplest terms, Evolve Credit is an online marketplace for Nigerians to explore their best loan options in the country. So, they can review different loan products on the market, over 100 products. They can compare them based on the different terms, the interest rates, how much money you can get, how long it will take for you to repay, and then they can apply for the loan product that best meets their needs.
Oh, great.
Interesting. Hmm.
So you're in
So,
partnership. Are you in partnership with some of these financial institutions who offer these loan services?
So how it works is we are not a lender, so we do not give out the loans. What happens is we have software on the back end that different financial institutions can plug into to essentially digitize their existing processes. So we do have our goal is to get to the point where we are official partners with the thousands of financial institutions we have across the country. And at the moment, we have a couple. We're moving forward with that one institution at a time.
Interesting. So, let's get to Evolve Credit and how you started. Where did this come from? Were you Did you work in the financial sector before, or was this an idea born out of a need to fix a problem? Tell us a little bit about that journey to
Sure.
Evolve Credit.
So I was born into I call it a lending family, right? So my family had kind of been in banking and finance and lending for over 25 years. And so that was the climate I was in. I always knew that there was lots of opportunity in the loan space. I mean, and for to give you some stats on that, only about 5.5% of adults in the country in Nigeria have access to a loan product, right? Um, that's very small. And for
Mm,
context, about 36% of adults in Nigeria at the moment have access to some kind of savings or payments product. So you can see there's a huge gap between 5.5 and 36. And so we knew we wanted to play in the space. My co-founder and I had been friends for many years, and we actually started out. Um, we built a lending app that allowed people to access loans at the point of sale. So think a credit card without the card, and that was what we wanted to start with. We just wanted to be another digitized lender, but in the process of doing that, what was interesting was when we would decline people loans or access to our app, and people would call me because I was the customer care calls came straight to me, and they call me and they say, "Oh, I know I know you said you can't give me money, but where else can I get a loan?" You know, And at first, I just go to Google and copy and paste and give it to them. And then they'd call me back and say, wait, can you please explain what do they mean by default policy? What do they mean by this? How long will I have to pay back? How much money can I get? And so it started becoming very clear that at least on the demand side of the loan market, there was an incredible information problem, right? And we began to realize that, a big part of the reason, you hear these horror stories of people getting locked in debt, of people's businesses being taken away because they couldn't pay back their loans, or having to repay the same loan for, you know, 3 years, that kind of thing. Oftentimes it boils down to a lack of information at the point of deciding which loan product to get. So we realized that there was a big opportunity there, and that led us to say, okay, can we build a centralized place online that has all the information people need on all of the products on the market, and then they can access it straight from their mobile phone. So there was that. And then on the other side, on the supply side, there was the fact that in the market at the moment there are literally thousands. There are thousands of licensed lenders, right? When you count the commercial banks, the microfinance banks, the finance houses, the individual money lenders, there are thousands of them. Many of them with products that are better suited for many Nigerians than the ones we all hear about on the radio, right? But they're not digitized. So they cannot compete with a loan provider that is all over our mobile phones and our computer screens. So we have the online marketplace, but we also provide kind of stealth technology on the back end that enables an offline lender, an offline microfinance bank or finance house or individual money lender to essentially become a fintech overnight, right? And automate every single thing in their lending process, from receiving the loans to the credit worthiness to managing their loan portfolio to automating the payments, the disbursements and the collections process. And that is what now plugs into our marketplace, so that we're able to actually facilitate a completely online loan application from the marketplace to a microfinance bank, for example.
So, sorry, Akan. So, I mean, I heard you, and I did a bit of research before coming on this show about your company, and it kind of reminds me of a company in the US. I think it's called Bankrate. Bankrate sort of offers something similar, where it's an online marketplace where people who are looking for, especially when in a market where there's a lot of supply of different kind of loan products, but you're not sure of which one to access and which one is best suited for you. So they just have that website where you can go and then you can compare rates and things like that. Is that also the sort of package that you guys offer? A website where if I need a loan now, I can just go there, see a lot of lenders and then compare interest rates and then decide to plug into any one of them. Is that it in a nutshell?
Exactly. That is exactly it in a nutshell. And these companies like Bankrate, like NerdWallet in the United States, like Go Compare in the United Kingdom, like GoBear in Southeast Asia, they're over 10 years old, but they're incredibly successful. Valued, all of them, I think, are now valued at least $500 million. All of them doing at least $100 million in revenue. This is in 10, 12, 15 years since they launched. And so, and why they're able to make so much, to be so profitable, is not only because they add so much value to the decision-making process of getting a loan, but also because they are the dominant online marketplaces for financial products in their regions, right? So Evolve Credit, our expectation is that in the next 5, 7, 10 years, Evolve Credit will be the dominant online marketplace for financial products on the African continent, not just in Nigeria. That's kind of what we're working towards.
Fantastic.
So, do you charge a fee though?
Yes. So our revenue model is two-pronged. On the one hand, there's a small fee that we charge every time an application is pushed through to a lender and that application is approved, right? And then on the other side, there is an entire set of features that were software features that we're providing on the back end to help the lenders essentially become fintechs overnight. And there's a monthly subscription fee for that, and it's very affordable.
That's after approval. The fee is after approval.
Yes. So the fee is depending on the preference of the financial institution. It will either be a fee. We will charge a small fixed fee upon approval of the application, or there'd be some kind of revenue share that we'd have with the financial institution. We leave that open to them. A revenue share upon collection, to be specific. But we leave that to them to decide which best suits their business needs, right? Because our big thing is we're very flexible, and we like to put our borrowers first. We like to put our lenders first.
By the way, Lagos, we've got participants on Zoom, basically right here, part of this session. They're listening in. So if you want to be part of this, you want to be on live radio, it's very simple. Just go to any of the Nairametrics handle, and then you can see the link, and then you can join. We've got a lot of participants on today. And participants, remember that you can always throw in your questions. Would always answer them, and Akan is also here to answer some of your questions. So Akan, incredible stuff. I mean, it's great that we see a lot of young people like you coming up with fascinating ideas that's basically trying to solve problems. I was telling somebody recently that if you have a tech idea that is not solving problem, then you're not serious. You got to be solving a major problem, and that problem is basically being able to match lenders with borrowers, effectively, which is great. But then you don't work in a vacuum. There would always be one or two people out there who's doing something similar or who want to do something similar. So do you see yourself or your organization, you and your co-founder, do you guys see yourself as pioneers in the space, or is there any competition that exists already that you try to want to beat at the moment? So who is your competition, more like?
The direct answer is that our competition is not necessarily one institution or another institution. Our competition is actually the idea that the process of applying for a financial product should happen in person, offline, and on paper, right? So we're actually creating a brand new category in Nigeria, and hopefully on the continent, where the expectation is straight from your home, straight from your mobile phone, via an app or the website or USSD, you can compare, literally speed compare hundreds of financial products at once, right? Figure out get recommendations on which one is best for you after filling out a 3-minute form, right? And then apply instantly in 10 minutes, and within 24 hours, get a decision and get your funds for yourself or for your business, right? All without interacting with a single human being, all without walking into a physical branch, all straight from your home and from your mobile phone. So this idea that, before I can get a loan dispersed to me, I have to talk to a human being. I have to fill out a form on paper. That's what we're we're competing against. Now, in the past, there have been other organizations that have attempted to create online marketplaces for loans and financial products. A dominant player has not emerged, right? Many of those other organizations are defunct, and there are reasons for that. And at Evolve Credit, we believe that we figured out, we've learned from their mistakes, and we're doing things differently so that we're here for a very long time.
I like that confidence. Very good. Anyway, but we're going to go break very soon. And when we come back, I'm going to be taking you on where the money is, because we like to follow the money here on Nairametrics. Like, how do you monetize this? And then you're also going to give us a little bit of background of how you've been able to raise funds and so far, and where you see yourself in the next 5 years. And of course, we're going to be taking questions from some of our participants who are logged in here. Ifeanyi, over to you.
All right, it's time to take a short break. We'll be back in a few moments. Renee and Angela with I'll Be Good. It plays every song you know. Welcome back to Business Half Hour, brought to you in collaboration with Nairametrics. I am Ifeanyi Atama, Ugodre in the house. Plus, we've got Akan Nelson, who's the founder and CEO of Evolve Credit. Welcome back, guys.
Good to have us back. Happy to be back. We've been speaking backstage, and that's what you get if you're a participant on this program, you can get to, hear all the good stuff behind the scenes and see some of the conversations that go on. That definitely can't come on air, but just for those of us that are at the back end. We've got a few questions. I think you want to take some of them. There's one from Chukwudi Joseph, another from Arida Emmanuel, kind of the same, similar question. They just want to know, Chukwudi here says, what are the requirements for a lender to enroll on your platform? Are there any regulatory requirements needed? Somebody else says, Arida says, how do I access the platform? So quickly.
Okay. So to be a lender onboarded on the platform, it's non-negotiable. You must be licensed by the Central Bank of Nigeria, right? There are many licenses that allow you to lend. The lenders would know which ones they are. And as long as you have it, then you should be fine. And the second question is, you access the Evolve Credit online marketplace by going to www.evolvecredit.co. That's evolvecredit.co in your mobile browser or on the browser on your computer. And
all right, that's simple. That's simple, guys. That's just it. So we're talking, Ifeanyi and I and you at the back end, and we said we're going to ask you questions around bootstrapping. We like to talk about bootstrapping here because people need to know how you can start businesses. And I mean, you started one already. So for you and your co-founders, starting this, was it easy? Did you use your own money, or did daddy and mommy give you money, or did you get money from uncles or angel investors? What's the start like for you guys?
Well, I think we've been fortunate enough to have a lot of support, but we weren't so fortunate that we could raise large amounts of money from our families. We went the VC route, where we engaged institutional investors like Microtraction, like Ingressive Capital, and we engaged individual angel investors, and we pitched them, and it happened very, very slowly at the start and then very quickly at the end, and we were able to raise a couple $100,000 to allow us to get things off the ground.
Fantastic stuff. Ifeanyi, what do you think?
Yeah, that is great. But what's your staff strength?
So at the moment, we have 8 full-time people on the team.
Okay.
And the split is, of that 8, 3 are technical, or it's pretty much split down the middle, 4 technical, 4 non-technical. Part of the reason for that is the process of obtaining the reviews, right? And making sure that they are actually useful and have a high level of integrity is incredibly labor intensive, right?
Sure.
And so we need to bring on strong content people with strong finance backgrounds who can put these reviews together.
And there's room for expansion, isn't it? For growth in terms of employee growth.
Of course. It's at the moment we're laser focused on keeping the team as lean as possible. But what's top of mind now is, as we begin to think about listing not only products in Nigeria, but very quickly beginning to list products in Ghana and Kenya and other parts of the continent, I think there's an opportunity to either engage Nigerians who understand those markets, live in those markets, travel to those markets frequently, or engage local talent there.
Is there a need for a physical office?
So the funny thing is, even before the pandemic, Evolve Credit was a remote first team, which meant that we've never had a physical office. There are members of, we have a software engineer working from Enugu. At one point, I was shuttling between Lagos and Johannesburg. My co-founder Daniel was shuttling between Beirut, Lebanon, and here. Even within Lagos State, right? One person living on the island, the other person living on the mainland. You can go a whole month without seeing anyone face to face. But tools like Zoom, WhatsApp, Slack, Basecamp, between all of these tools, we're able to work very efficiently. And I think if you ask the team, most of us would say that we actually prefer remote work to the idea of having to come into an office every day.
Definitely. Most people would say that, but how big is this market, Akan? Because a lot of people, or a lot of our listeners are probably in their cars or homes listening and trying to figure out if this is the next big thing in fintech, how big do you see this market getting to? Or where is it at the moment, and how big do you think it can get, at least in Nigeria or Pan-African?
So the market is massive. There's a study by McKinsey. I can't recall the year, but the figure that's been thrown around is there's a $360 billion credit gap on the African
Whoa.
continent, right? That, and I mean, that gap needs to be filled, right? And it's not, and the funny thing is the contrarian truth. So the popular wisdom is that the money is not there. But the contrarian truth is actually the money is there, but it's a distribution problem on the side of the lenders, right? You can't distribute that volume of capital, right, if you're not incredibly tech enabled, right? Because your physical RMs, your physical relationship managers cannot reach all of
They can't go everywhere.
Right. So we're saying, look, by in 5 years, we want to convert every single microfinance and finance house entity and lender in this country into a fintech, right? Let's level the playing field. Let's give all of them the tech they need to disperse, right? Let's make the market more transparent for borrowers, and then, then I think we'll even see the emergence of new, more progressive kinds of financial products begin to emerge, because they'll all start having to compete on more subtle things instead of just.
And when they do that, prices go down.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
And the people
Everybody,
benefit.
the customers benefit at the end of the day.
Precisely.
That's it.
Precisely. And when you think about post-COVID economic recovery, when you think about facilitating the emergence of a new Nigeria, right, of a Nigeria where like people's dreams can come through, where people have access to the capital that they need, right, that's exactly the kind of thing you want to see happening, right? And Evolve Credit, we're incredibly passionate about what we do. We're looking forward to being a part of that recovery process.
Okay,
good stuff.
What do you have a challenge with bridging the gap, in the more rural areas of Nigeria? Because internet penetration and online penetration in some places is not as strong as you would consider in places like Lagos and other more urban settlements. Do you have any challenges there?
So internet penetration in the rural areas is not as deep, but mobile phone penetration is exactly as deep. So it's just a matter of layering a sophisticated USSD product on top of it, where maybe people they might not be able to complete the entire loan or financial product acquisition process, right? But at least they might be able to get a recommendation and a connection to a phone number, text-based, and then they receive a text message with a phone number they can call, right? And then the transaction can happen remotely still over the phone, right? But it was still sourced in a digitized way. So, we're already having those discussions in team on how we can bridge those gaps, and we're open-minded and looking forward to also receiving more inspired suggestions from the public, if anyone has.
Akan, we had somebody on this show, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, can't remember again. And they have this product, right, where you actually don't even need to fill any form to get a loan. And, it was basically, once you have a mobile number that they know and they've already profiled your credit and they think you're credit worthy, you just send like a USSD code, and then within 5-10 minutes, they kind of credit you, though they had limits then. I think it was maybe 20,000, 30,000 or something like that. And they credit immediately, like you don't know interface at all. How do you play in that kind of space? Oh my God, we have little time on our hands, but quickly, how do you play in that kind of space?
So those kinds of loan products will always be on the market. And they work very well for those smaller amounts. But when you talk about needing 500,000 Naira for your business, right?
You got to have applications done.
Right. It has to be more thorough. And I think that is and when you talk about high impact lending, right, it's, the smaller amounts are important, but we're talking about facilitating the emergence of many successful small businesses in the country, and improving standard of living. And you need more than 20,000 Naira
to do that.
To do that. You need hundreds of thousands of Naira. And that's the space we're playing in.
So if just 10 seconds, let me squeeze this in. So you make money from commissions, right? Because we like to follow the money. That's where the money come from? Like some kind of brokerage commission.
Yes.
All right. Fine. Over to you.
Okay, Akan, before we let you go, what's your guiding light? What words on marble guide you every day when you wake up in the morning?
Right. So there's a quote from my old boarding school, African Leadership Academy, and it says, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." And that keeps me going, keeps my team going, and I hope it'll keep some people listening to me this morning going too.
Nigeria Youth is doing that already as well. So I mean, that's spot on. Fine, that's our show for this week. Thanks, Akan.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.